Good evening, fight fans. Welcome to another great episode of Headkicks and Haymakers. I'm your boy Bodkins, and of course, with me as always is Mr. Bobby Blunt. Bobby, what a no fights this past weekend on Thanksgiving, and as we left last show Wednesday night to head into the nice Thanksgiving meal. Uncle Dana came with some announcements at halftime. You actually called it. I think it said, "Hey, I think there's going to be an announcement on that. Stay tuned on the CBS." And then I think about an hour after we got off the show, it was announced that Dana White's going to be making some announcements at the halftime show of CBS, the Cowboys-Chiefs game. Tune in, and so good on you for that. I had not seen that until you told me that. So. And sure enough, the announcements were made. We do know that the first Paramount card will be Justin Gaethje, out of all fucking people, versus Paddy Pimblett for the interim title. We know now that Ilya is not really vacated, but just taking a hiatus as he deals with some personal things. And then on the co-main event, I told you this, though. I had this, did I not? I said I called it months ago. I said the very first card will be fight of the year in January will be Amanda Nunes versus Kayla Harrison. I did call that. I called that months ago. So, tip my own cap here, pat myself on the back here. But I did call that. That is the co-main event. Obviously, a lot of backlash. There's some, Sean O'Malley versus Song Yong-dong is going to be on that card. They also announced Volk versus Diego Lopez of the back-to-back, PLEs, numbered cards, whatever you want to call them, Bobby. But the
number cards is what we will call them on this program.
Hey, I'm the host. We'll call them PLEs if we want. But nonetheless, a lot of backlash of Gaethje and Paddy for the interim and being the main event of the 324, I guess it would be, in about a month's time. Your thoughts, Mr. Blunt, on all the announcements that Dana had?
I mean, first off, I can't take credit for it because I saw it get scooped. That I'm blanking on the name, but someone pointed that out. So it wasn't my Nostradamus thinking, but it was kind of ironic because I typically, when I watch football, I had the mute button pretty close to me, and I was very aware that the announcement was coming on halftime, but then I still muted it because they were talking about the game. I don't really care to hear opinions about it. And then, sure enough, I looked down and I missed the middle of it. The screen is up with all the events. And, unfortunately by then we kind of already saw the writing on the wall because Ilya had the statement that he would be stepping away. And, right there it was okay, well, Paramount's going to kind of show us what they're about here. What are we going to get? And I think most people knew that it was going to be Paddy and Justin Gaethje for the interim title. I was kind of holding out my delusional hope that it would just be Paddy versus Justin, because I think it's a pretty good fight. On paper, we'll get some interesting questions answered. But to me, when they announced that it was for the interim title, it was just very eye-rolling. Not so much that Arman Sarukian isn't involved in it. That was kind of just the gray area in it. But it just kind of gave me that feeling. And especially with the Volk announcement back-to-back with him fighting Diego in a repeat, it just reminded me of okay, this is the direction they want to go in. They're trying, and it's hard to really get mad at them for it because it makes sense what they're trying to do, pull in the most subscribers and stuff. But I don't know. It still kind of rubbed me the wrong way when I saw it because I just it takes a lot of my interest away in the fight, knowing that the division is just going to be locked up for like a year because of this. And I think it's kind of telling to know that if Ilya was ready, we'd be getting Ilya versus Patty. I mean, I think that's the main thing to write home, that though Arman had that great performance, he was really never in consideration. And I guess it just kind of is what it is at this point. Like, the card itself on paper built very well, but you know, my question would be like, them putting Kayla and Amanda as the co-main, do they really think having Patty and Justin as the main event, if that fight, the co-main event, is going to turn people off with the grappling and stuff, they really think they're going to stick through the full 25 minutes and wait for the main event? I think they would just turn it off. Like the people that don't actually watch the sport, which is kind of what this is geared towards. So I don't know. It kind of, it makes sense, but at the same time, this is just putting the title on Jey Uso all over again. Like that's really just how I look at it.
Is Patty Jey Uso in this scenario what you're saying?
You know, no disrespect to Patty, because I do think he is coming up, but yeah, no, absolutely. Like, this is the easiest way for them to sell us with Ilya versus Patty, knowing that there was probably going to be pushback against that original matchmaking. And now everything can.
Well, there's pushback now. There's pushback on this. You know what I mean?
I mean, there is, but like at the same time, let's be honest, like by January, no one's going to really be talking about it. I don't think they'll kind of move on and be excited for it. And, you know, I really don't know that it bothers people the way, like, because like I'm not against fun or anything like that, but it just really goes to show, like, with this event this weekend, I think this Saturday might be the last card where we definitively have the best fighting the best. And when you add this whole other kind of can of worms in there, like, obviously they killed two birds with one stone. They were able to acknowledge giving Gaethje a title shot because he was talking about retiring. So, you know, the math makes sense to me, but I'd be lying if it just still doesn't make, like, well, goddamn, like, I just feel like it would have been so much more intriguing if you would have had Arman involved in it with an interim title. But, you know, they want to, you know, have that first kind of like bang on the first Paramount card. So the easiest way to do that is, you know, with Gaethje and Patty. I'm not naive to that at all. But I think that with the Volkanovski announcement is just kind of going to pave the way for what we're in for the future. Like, to be honest, like Tom Aspinall, for example, I really can't rule out them stripping Tom Aspinall for the title and matching up Pereira with Potent anymore. It's just kind of where we are.
Pereira and Jones. Let me just say this. Like, I don't know. So I get them trying to stack the deck, right? But is the UFC really, like, if you are already a UFC fan, are you really, I think you're going to subscribe to Paramount Plus no matter what the hell the event is, right? Like, they already have millions of fans. They're like, well, I'm not going to tune in because it's, you know, it's Kayla versus Amanda is the main event. Like, I would think more diehard fans and more fans, which is the, you know, in the sport is continuing to grow. I know that, but for the most part, right, the diehards are the diehards, and we're going to pay the subscription to Paramount, and we're going to tune in on Saturday night. And those are the people that are they're going to are already going to get the subscription if you already don't have the subscription, right? So I don't know if you're going to really get any new fans, a whole lot of new fans. You've been on ESPN for what, the last 7-8 years. So like, are you really going to get any new fans switching to Paramount? Pretty much, if you have fucking CBS, you have ESPN. So whether you're an ESPN fan or you're a UFC fan already, or you're not going to be, you know? So like, I don't really see them getting new fans because they put Justin and Patty as the main event. So like, just do the natural thing, and that's put the two best women on the planet of the face of the earth who are about to fight. You have the GOAT and a 2-time Olympian, the bantamweight with the women's bantamweight champion, and maybe could go down if she beats Amanda as one of the best, and arguably could be the most best combat woman in the history of the world, if you think about it. It's because she has the 2 Olympics, the PFL and the and then she goes, Kayla beats Amanda, like that sells itself. Like, I don't really think you really need Justin and Patty. The fight itself is great. Sign me up. Like, I'm all in. I don't necessarily know if I need 5 rounds of it, but I mean, if you're going to give it to me, and you can make that a great co-main. I don't need the title, and I don't understand why we have to have an interim title anyway. How many times have we seen a title go almost a whole year without an interim and only being defended one time, right? A bunch of times. There's not very many Marabs out in the world who are defending their title 4 times in 1 year, or 3 times, or even 2 times in a year, right? We're very lucky if we get a champ to defend 2 times in a year. So I don't know why we needed to do this interim bullshit. And we already both know, and I think most hardcore fans know, the rankings don't mean shit. And they just continue to prove that rankings don't mean shit. I'm not sure. And maybe they had to do this because I've read that Paramount wanted, they were unhappy with the heavy grappling. Well, what did you think, Paramount people, like the suits at Paramount? What did you think was going to happen? What business did you think you were going to get into? You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be some fights that are a little maybe lackluster or heavy grounded, because like that's what this sport is. Like, it's MMA, it's mixed martial arts. It's not just standard fight with, it's not bare knuckle boxing here. So what are we doing here? Like, that's part of the game, and part of the some of the best champions, their best, arsenal is on the ground game. So there was, I don't really feel like we needed the interim. I feel like you could have sold me and everybody else on Kayla versus Amanda, and we're still buying the damn subscription, Bobby, and we're still tuning in on Saturday night.
Yeah, I think the real difference is with them being able to pull in the new subscribers on Paramount is they are casting away a much wider net than they ever had. With, like, as far as I'm concerned, what we saw on Thursday for the halftime show is already more than ESPN had ever done for the year.
Yeah, so Rob here does have a question on this change from ESPN to Paramount. Everyone talks about the waves of fans in the sport. Is one of those major shifts about to happen come 2026? Is the UFC going to lose a bunch of casual fans? I actually think they could gain some, Rob, because they no longer have to pay $70 every month to tune in. So like, that to me is the plus, right? Like, there's no paywall, so the casual fans can stick around on a Saturday and watch it. And not only that, it got decreased an hour, back an hour, right? So like, for us in the Central and East Coast time zones, we're not having to stay up till 1, 2 in the morning to watch the damn fights, and we'll be able to stay wide awake for the whole card.
Yeah, and again, like, them making that announcement on CBS, like, it came out that was the most watched football game ever. Yeah. And so like, you're getting so many different eyeballs, and that's why I kind of see it. I just also find it kind of ironic that they booked this, because this is style friendly. However, people seem to kind of not be acknowledging that Patty's best avenue to win this fight would be to grapple. So that is kind of the point to me where it's like, what are we really even doing here? But you know, like for promotion wise and stuff, I kind of see why they did it, but the like you kind of led with the interim. It's just the 155 division is already kind of cluttered with meaningless titles. There's no real leniency with the 155 title since Islam moved up. You know, Ilya had the knockout performance against Oliveira, but like, let's be real. Like, we actually wanted to see him tested at the division. Yeah. And now essentially, like, we'll be lucky to get that in 2026. So yeah, I know the whole argument of like that will just make the fights kind of better down the line and stuff. But and maybe if we didn't have the Diego Volk announcement, I would not be so sour on this. But to me, it's almost just like indefensible at this point. Like, this is going to be their plan going for, like, this has Mark Shapiro's fingerprints all over it. If you look at how they're, you know, building these wrestling shows and how they're like trying to monetize the best gain for the most tickets. And it's just going to be the next chapter in the playbook. And I just find it very fitting that we kind of get this now on the eve of the last ESPN pay-per-view card this weekend. And, you know, it's just kind of very interesting to see where we're even going to be a year from now. Like, maybe this kind of all gets self-corrected and they're just
and here's my last thing. I agree. I think we're both in agreement. We both like Diego. Diego shouldn't be next. It should be Lerone or Mozar. But here's my biggest pet peeve, Bobby. Like, you just mentioned it, that this was one of the most watched games of all time that on Thanksgiving, the Chiefs Cowboys. Why the hell is it just fucking Dana White talking? Why is it just the back of the wardroom? Hey guys, I got some packed fights for you. Why the hell didn't they not roll out an absolute cutting performance of like a package, like roll out the whole 9 yards of a package, like, you know, the lioness has returned for her crown. The one time, you know, put the damn backstory for the casual fans out there. You know, here is this gold medal too, you know what I mean? Like, put the whole where's Ron Perlman at with the damn promo cut talking about the backstory and building the fights up instead of just having Dana on there talking about people who maybe some of these people, the casual fans, don't fucking know. If you actually showed the footage of the fights in the backstories and promoted the fight that way, wouldn't the casuals be like, oh shit, sign me up because I want to watch those two. I want to watch those two fight. Instead of fucking Dana just chanting some fucking names where the casual fan, I don't know who the fucking Justin Gaethje is.
Well, it was kind of bizarre just having like all the snacks laid out and like it was obviously pre-recorded and
yeah. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, Dana should have just been like, come out like, boys, welcome. We're kicking off the Paramount card, our new era in Paramount. Check this shit out, and then hit the film. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know, just the way the it is almost, though it was on a bigger platform and it was cool to see, it was almost less effort than the normal War Room kind of post when he announces stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously they had to kind of, I think the biggest thing that probably came down to that was mixing in with the halftime window and stuff like that with commercials, which is why it like became such a throwaway. I mean, to the point, that's why he announced Diego Volk on his IG, because
maybe don't do it at halftime. Maybe do it like at the end of the third quarter, right? Going into the fourth quarter or something. You give yourself a little bit more of a leeway, right?
Yeah. And
how many times have we seen the NFL do some shit like that? Or like, stay tuned till after the third quarter for a new movie preview or a new preview of a show. You know what I mean?
And like the way they did it is because kind of like you said, I don't think if you put those names on the screen and the two fights at the top are flipped, we might realize that, but I would say 70% of the people
My
watching
grandpa,
football,
who's in the next, is eating his Thanksgiving. He don't know who the fuck these people are.
He's like, "Where's my dinner?" Like, you know, and but you know, it aside from that, like, even though it did feel so throwaway, it was kind of surreal having a UFC event announced in the middle of a football game. Like, as like lackluster as it was, it just kind of like gives me hope for the future of what they possibly can do and stuff. And you know, they'll probably grade it with a curve. But it also wouldn't shock me at all if you know, they just kind of use the platform and they do the same kind of minimal effort with the announcement. Because like a video package would have done everything in the world, especially for Amanda coming back. Like, I don't think anyone even knows like how important it is, just like kind of slapping it on there. And I mean, obviously they're just trying to build off it, so I'm not trying to be too critical on it, but it for how excited I was like crushed instantly. Like it like the fact that I had my television muted and I practically missed it. Like, come on. And it was cool having, you know, Merab and Mackenzie Dern looking at Dana through the peephole and stuff like that. But and maybe they didn't have they made it such on the fly that they didn't have time to put together a video package for like Patty and stuff. But you kind of know like who's like, just show some highlights or something while he's talking. But you know, it kind of is what it is. It'll be interesting to see how they build off it with the era. And I'm not trying to the fights as a whole. I mean, I think I told you this live. You know, ESPN would have no problem charging us $80 for that card. So it's still like kind of a huge upgrade. But my alarms, the alarms are going off, and like, where are we going? Because it's already been that in the last year, kind of exiting from ESPN Plus, we're kind of feeling this. So I'm just wondering if it's going to get more magnified with Paramount. But you know, we're just going to have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah. You mentioned it, Bobby. Let's jump into it. We've done. I was like, we probably don't. We need to spend a whole lot of time on it because we're gonna have 6 weeks of absolutely nothing to talk about all this shit. And we spent 20 minutes talking about the announcement. But it's time to move into some of the fights that are actually happening this week. You mentioned it's the last really time maybe we got to pay for a pay-per-view ever. Hopefully, knock on wood, on the ESPN era. And it is none of the headline UFC 323 by Merab. You know, I'm never going to be able to say his last name right, but versus Peter Yan2. Fourth time this year, Merab is defending his belt, and by God, the rest of the card is pretty darn good. We'll obviously get into the main card, but I'm just taking a look here at the prelims. You got Jalen Turner making his debut after that short stint of retirement, taking on, you know, Edson Barbosa. I think he was probably at UFC 1, UFC on Fox, UFC on ESPN, and here he is. You know, that's how long Edson Barbosa's been around. You got Marvin Vettori versus Bruno Ferreira at the middleweight, and you got Macy Barber. Hopefully, she can make the walk this time, taking on Silva, as well as Chris. You know, don't stay too long here for Chris Duncan versus Terrence McKinney. And you got Grant Dawson and Manel Torres kind of rounding out the prelims. Any fight on the prelims that you're like, ooh, you got circled here?
Definitely Duncan McKinney.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's much needed explanation for that one. There's well done with that. That is definitely going to be fireworks. Be locked in for that for sure. And yeah, I mean, just in general, it's like for the last pay-per-view, I think it's built very well, like let alone the main card. I think all the prelims, kind of have some stakes and matter. But if I'm circling one, don't know how long I'll get enjoyment out of it, but it's definitely Duncan and McKinney there. I'd be very interested to see what the over under in that is.
I just looked it up. It's 1.5.
Yeah,
that the over is plus money at 130. The under is minus 155. Oh wait, no, I'll take that back. The over is plus 260. So,
yeah, I was gonna say you should bet that right now because
the over is 260.
That should be one
the
of the most inflated props on the card by far.
Yeah, the under is minus 360, 1.5 rounds. So, yeah, I'm right there with you. I love the under, but at minus 360, the odds aren't great there.
Yeah, and Grant Dawson is also a very interesting fight to have on there. You got that Santos kid from Tough. I think he's opening the prelims there. So I'm still kind of interested to see what the UFC's got with him too. So, literally from the jump, this is going to be one I'm going to be locked in for because I really do not see a bad fight really on this card. I mean, we're going to get a lot of questions answered with Silva and Macy there as well. So, yeah, very good bookings all around.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the return of Jalen Turner. I was real high on him at one time. He's like, just the simple fact that he's 6'4", he gets all the way down to 155. He's missed weight. He's still young at 30 years old. He's taken on, Barbosa, who I jokingly I said he's been around, obviously at 40. But it's just like, even the last time we saw Turner, it's like we could tell he didn't want to be in there. But before that, he had the Moicano fight where he almost should have won. The King Green fight where he should have been stopped earlier. The Dan Hooker fight was a fun one. Even the Gamrot was fun. So he's fought some like real tough dudes and has hung in there with some and just had some, bad luck. So it'd be interesting to kind of see, how he looks in his return and maybe hopefully he finds his love for the sport here, because I think the last fight, he even said he didn't really want to be in there, and you could tell he didn't want to be in there.
And credit to the UFC for much better matchmaking for him this time around.
Yeah.
I'd much rather see them matching him up against Barboza coming back, opposed to, matching him up with some kid that just came off a contender that's, young and hungry. I'm not trying to slight Barbosa at all. I know he's absolutely going to bring it. But much more kind of leveled matchmaking for Turner there. And, I'm very excited to see him get back in it. I think all of us thought that retirement would be kind of short-lived. And I'm glad he kind of figured out whatever he was bugging him, and he feels good competing there again. And I don't know if it was just a combination of, I still to this day can't get over that Money Moicano sequence. Like, that is one of the more bizarre things I've seen as far as thinking a fight is over and then like the complete shift of it. And he's still young enough to where he could, absolutely make some noise and get back in the rankings there. So very good choice putting him on here. I was kind of surprised. I don't want to say he's buried, but I think you could make an argument to have him be, the headliner of the prelims.
Who, Turner and Barbosa?
Yeah.
I think because of the layoff, both of them. I guess Barbosa just fought back in August, but Turner, because of the layoff, they're really high on Grant Dawson. He's ranked right now too, so I think that's probably why.
Yeah, and it's definitely a the prelims have some big implications for 155. between that fight and Grant Dawson. So, we'll get some answers there, even though it seems like it's going to be a stalling division for a year. But at least, we'll get to see some of the up and coming guys and see if they can, kind of make that. What's Grant ranked at there?
He's 13.
13. Yeah. So
yeah, heavy, decent favorite at 2-1. Really, I mean 205 minus 205. How about this? I was just kind of scrolling here. The UFC's already taken off the odds for the Macy Barber versus Karine versus Silva. So I wonder if Macy's not going to be able to make the walk again.
I mean, if you're betting on that fight, you need like, come on.
I might have bet that it goes decision, Bobby. I might have bet the decision.
They pulled the line for you there. I'm on Macy. I really hope that's all behind her as well. It definitely sounded like she was dealing with some struggles there, so it's good that all kind of got figured out. And let's just be real. It was on a apex, a pretty forgivable thing. Your health is the most important thing when you're about to get into the cage and try to beat someone up. So but yeah, they're absolutely doing her no favors with this matchup, but I don't think she'll be in over her head either. So it's pretty intriguing women's fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed. We'll see what happens there. Hopefully she can make the walk and kind of get back on track. Let's jump into the main card. It is headlined, starts off here in the light heavyweight division. It's the return of Yan Blachowicz, who's a slight favorite here at minus 120 versus Gustav. Yan Blachowicz. It's been a while since we've seen Yan. He last time out lost to Olberg back in March of this year. He's it's been a tough run for the former light heavyweight champ. 2 losses, obviously lost to Alex Pereira, lost to Carlos Olberg. He's had some injuries, the draw to Ankalaev. So he's actually, he hasn't won a fight since 2022 due to some injuries and things like that. And he has taken on the number 11 ranked Gustav. Gustav coming off, he's on a 4-fight winning streak, Bobby. We saw him beat Nikita Krylov back in July earlier this year. So this is his 3rd fight of the year. So for Gustav, who's been pretty active this year, trying to end the year in the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, I'll never be mad having to watch the Polish Power fight, opening up a card there. However, man, I don't know. Like the Olberg fight, he looked
slow and old.
Yeah. And I'm looking at these wonderful odds provided by your prep work. I'm actually kind of surprised it's so close.
Yeah.
I would think Gustav would be a little bit more of a favorite, but Yan is a former champion as well, so you got to give him his credit for that. But in straight picking, I'm gonna have to go with the uglier Anthony Smith, which is Gustav.
Yeah, Gustav. We would be remiss if we, as an old head myself, I'm not quite as old as Yan Blachowicz. He's 42, and Gustav's the young age of 33. So, 9 years difference here. I do love Yan Blachowicz. He's always just the Polish power. I enjoyed his. I think to me, I enjoyed his run as champion. It was a nice run, and unfortunately, it wasn't a very long run, but a good run. Remember this guy who beat Izzy.
He does not get enough credit for that win ever. Yeah. In my opinion, they always just.
I don't think he gets enough credit as champion, right? Because I think John Jones vacated, and then it was COVID during his whole run as well. So it's not like you got to enjoy the run in front of a crowd. So.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. I'm always going to kind of have a soft spot for Yan. I never feel good kind of picking against him. And looking at the line, it kind of makes sense thinking it out, because it would not shock me at all if Yan was able to roll back the clock and get a stoppage here and a victory.
I just realized I didn't put Gustav's record in there. He's 18-3.
And I would not have known, like, judging off photos, that there was a 9-year gap in age there, but that absolutely matters as well. But yeah, I mean, Yan is like the last person you want to be sleeping on too. So it's the pick'em aspect makes a lot more sense talking it out here. But
I'm going Gustav as well, by the way.
Yeah. Locking Gustav. But yeah, I mean, definitely deserving to be opening up the main card. Absolutely. Should be fun.
Yeah. Let's get into the next one. It is the return of Mr. Cringe himself, Triple C, in his last fight. Henry Cejudo, 16-5 plus 230, taking on the young Peyton Talbot. 10-1 minus 285. Peyton, the heavy, almost 4-1 here. And I just talked about Jan Blachowicz not winning a fight. The last time Henry Cejudo won a fight was the aforementioned Dominic Cruz. We remember the Keith Peterson Dom Cruz fight there way back May 9th, 2020. So it's been 5 years since the King of Cringe has won a fight, and he has taken on Mr. Peyton Talbot, 10-1. Did come off a huge jump I don't know if this is a huge jump for Peyton Talbot, but we're going to say it is due to the rankings, because Henry somehow was ranked 10. So Talbot, this is his third fight this year. Lost back in January. Remember, he looked awful in the wrestling, nonetheless. And then comes back in June, answers back, and now here he is to end the year against, maybe at least his biggest name, and maybe that he's faced.
Yeah, I mean, unquestionably his biggest test. I mean, no matter what you think of Henry, he's still a former champion.
Former two-division champion.
Oh, I know. He won't let you forget it. When this first got announced, I was actually a little surprised by it, because a lot of the times when the UFC knows that it's going to be your last fight, they go with a lot least favorable matchmaking. They want to.
They usually give you a guy that's going to knock you out and put you down. Yes, Frankie Edgar and. Everybody else, people like that.
Yeah, they want to send the old guy out the back and, build off the new guy's name. And I absolutely see a little bit of that in the matchmaking. But at the same time, I don't know if it's a credit to Ali or what, but this is probably the most winnable fight they could have given Henry when you look at kind of where the division is and stuff. But that being said, it is going to be no walk in the park. And there's quite a size difference. I think 6 inches in height, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Henry is 5'4". Mr. Talbot is 5'10". Also, 11 years age difference. So Henry's 38 and Talbot's 27.
And though I had Song winning the fight with him, Henry did have his moments in that fight. And that is someone that, like, I thought if Henry was like really falling off, he would have had a lot more struggles with and stuff. So, I mean, this is a very good fight. I mean, you throw out the personalities and everything aside. And I think Henry is kind of poised to go out on his own terms with this, whether it's just looking good in the fight or gain a victory. Like, this would be a very good final victory to kind of be riding off in the sunset and laying the gloves down, in my opinion.
Yeah, very few people do that, or like, very people are Robbie Lawler, right? Like we know Robbie was able to get a knockout in his last fight. It usually doesn't work like this. For that, Henry, if you really think about it, I don't really know. Like, I'm looking at like the last time maybe Henry fought somebody that was maybe on the level of Peyton Talbot, right? Like just like an unranked person. Like, I mean, if you really look, he had the mini retirement, right? We know, and then he come back after about 3 years off. I mean, he fought Aljo for the title. He fought Marab. He fought, who's the current champion, Song Yadong's right there. And then before that, he had Cruz, Morales, Dillashaw, Dimitri, Sergio Pettis, maybe. I don't even know if that qualifies, right? Like, you'd have to go way back to like March in 2015 on like when he's like trying to build himself up to like really find him somebody that's maybe a current level of Peyton Talbot. And that's not me knocking on Peyton Talbot. I just think like, where they are at in the rankings and things like that. So I'm still a little nervous, right, from the January fight where Peyton looked so awful on the ground game, had no answer. Did answer a lot of that in the last fight, though.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is just also a testament to Henry's career, because I mean those names you read off, he's literally fought
the who's who of
the best in two different eras.
Yeah,
and so I mean he's kind of going to always have those accomplishments. I will maintain, and this obviously is a pretty cold take nowadays, but it's always going to kind of be a what if with me with Cejudo, even though he had this storied career, because him retiring in the middle of his prime just really did him no favors, like let alone with the brass, but just if he was getting some stuff in there, I really think we kind of missed out on some of the best that we really could have gotten out of Cejudo. But at the same time, at least he's kind of still able to go out on his terms a little bit more naturally here. Would be very curious to see if there's a video package or if he even gets any mic time.
That's a good question. Do they still hate him? I mean, Dana still hates him. So. And Dana's kind of told him. Dana's the one that's kind of said, "Hey, you dog shit, pretty much. It's time to retire."
Well, Dana did have him. They were on the pod or whatever, showing the suit collection. It's like a little of it is, been restored, but we just know they don't forget stuff. And I mean, it's actually kind of sad because now that Henry is leaving, he's actually saying some of the most sanest shit of his career. Like when they asked him with the eye pokes and stuff, it was like, oh, good. Like now you want to leave us when you're actually starting to make sense. But hey, I guess that just goes to him. His whole king of cringe thing. You're gonna miss him when he's gone. But
probably not.
Yeah, well, look, hint of sarcasm, but I do kind of really wonder, like in 5 years or something, looking back, like how he is really going to be remembered, knowing that, and this is probably more a kind of post-fight talk with it, but I'm just kind of more interested to see how he's really remembered, because he has fought a lot of the greats and stuff, and his legacy on paper is really nothing to sneeze at, but none of that really has anything to do with this fight, and maybe like for Peyton's aspect, he can kind of take some of that shine. I saw him joking, saying that Henry wanted to pass the king of cringe off to him and stuff. So I kind of already love the father-son aspect of the matchup going into it. And, Peyton is very big for the weight class. So I do think he will be able to kind of deter some of Cejudo. But at the same time, like his trips and stuff are like some of the best in the game. And that's kind of the most intriguing thing to me is can Peyton stump all of that? And, if he is, I think he'd be kind of on route and being able to get a decision victory. But Henry showed, in the Song fight and other previous fights, I mean, just like Usman, that he still has his bag of tricks that he can implement, and whether he's a little slower in the tooth or not, he can still implement those. So, I find the odds a little bit wide there.
Me too.
That part is a little bit telling. I don't know if that's more just Henry's inactivity since coming back from retirement and stuff or what. But I would have that a little bit closer. But that being said, I do think Peyton will be able to show enough to really get a decision off. But I do think it is going to be a close fight. I don't think it's going to be one-way traffic either way.
All right, so who are you picking?
Peyton.
You're picking Peyton. Okay. I'm just trying to see something here. Okay, never mind. So it's just weird. On the app, it's different. And then on the UFC of the Moreno fight was different. So, oh, shit. I almost want to pick Henry because I really think Henry. Fuck it, I'm picking Henry Cejudo. Henry wins. You know what? And fuck it. Henry's getting the damn dog mask, baby. I wasn't going to do it for Henry, but you know what? Henry Cejudo is a little Chihuahua pit bull, so why not at plus 230? Why can't Henry Cejudo be the dog on the card, baby? Give me the little guy, Henry Cejudo, one last time.
That was the most cleanest transition to the dog of the night I have ever seen. Well done. I didn't even see it coming. Normally I can call it out.
I was I was just, the reason I double checked. So on DraftKings, the sports book, it is Moreno at plus 100 here or 102. But when I looked it up on the UFC website, they had it minus 102. So I don't know. But DraftKings still got Moreno here at plus 110. So, and that was originally going to be my dog. But, I just think that Henry can do it. So, but nonetheless, you got, I think this fight's incredible too, Bobby. It is Brandon Moreno, the ever game. Brandon Moreno versus Tiara here. Both these guys highly ranked in the flyweight, sorry. And for Moreno, it's been a while since we've seen both of these guys. Moreno last fought in March here when he had the unanimous decision against Steve Erceg, and Tiara, his last fight was back in August, I guess just recently. Geez, that was a quick turnaround. I was thinking it was longer than that. But before that, he had the Royval loss back in October last year, but did win against Park in August of this year. So your thoughts here on number 2 versus number 5? Both these guys trying to jockey maybe to be next, in this division.
Yeah, I mean, I really love that we're showcasing the flyweights on the main event. Well done with that. And yeah, this might as well just be a straight pick 'em. I think that's why you're going to see it fluctuating. It's probably going to go back and forth up until when they're in the cage. When was Moreno's last 3-round fight? Do you have that by chance?
Yeah. So it was 5-round. His last, well, that was never mind. Hold on.
It's been a minute, right?
Hold on. TK to 5-3. Yeah, way back when he fought Brandon Royval, November 21st, 2020.
And that That was a
Remember,
loss,
he
right?
he beat. Remember, he beat Royval, and then they had a 2 weeks later turned around and fought Davison Figueiredo for the title, and that went to a draw.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, because he beat Royval in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And then they that was December, or was that November? Sorry, that was November 21st, UFC 255, and then they ran it back. Something I can't remember because of COVID or whatever. They ran it back, Figgy versus Moreno back in 256. So Figgy was actually headlined 2 back-to-back pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I think where I'm like leaning on this is mainly just because it's a 3-round fight. We know Mr. I'm So Happy is going to want to implement and kind of get close to him and take him down. Moreno has seen that plenty before, so I don't think that's really going to be my like determining factor in picking him. But it's if this was a 5-round fight, like on a main event for an Apex or something, I would probably be very confident that Moreno gets it done. But with the 3-round aspect is why I'm just so up in the air with it.
I didn't think about that. I forgot it was a 3-round fight.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, Moreno has been around so long, like he's no stranger to like fighting in a 3-round fight. I don't think it's going to really affect him or throw him off at all. But
probably one of my favorite fighters is Brandon Moreno, and dude just brings it.
Yeah, and he's got an extremely likable personality, and yeah, I mean he's
dude,
yeah.
Bobby, if you think about it, how many wars this guy been in though? Like you have the trilogy with Figgy, right? Like all those were fantastic. The Pantoja's fights, you know what I mean? Like that fight was fantastic. Like the guy has been in some absolute wars.
Yeah,
wars.
Which is why I feel like a moron picking against him. I mean, this is
you're going Tara.
That's kind of where I'm leaning. This is the one I am least confident in choosing, just because I know how game Moreno is and how like literally this is a pickup. But with the 3-round aspect of it, I think I am going to have to lean Tara, but Moreno, I could understand why this originally was your dog on the night, because there's absolutely no way you can count him out. Yeah. And I mean, this is just a very high quality flyweight fight that we get to enjoy. So I
can't wait for it. I love watching Brandon Moreno fight. Like I say, he's probably one of my favorite flyweights. I love Brandon Royval too. I really, some of the flyweights, just like the top 5 flyweights, they fight each other all the time, and they're all so fucking good. I'm going Moreno here. I just think he gets it done. I'm never can't ever count out the Mexican spirit in Brandon Moreno, and I think it shows itself one more time on Saturday. I think he can start faster because they're 3-round fight, and I think that'll help him.
And I have all full confidence that he will. I don't think he's gonna come out.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is, and I know maybe the co-main could be the fight of the night, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is fight of the night. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, no, I think that's more than fair. Absolutely.
Like if they were like, hey, this was fight of the night, and this turns out to be, yeah. But Bobby, you said last week this was going to be your toughest pick, maybe on the card in a long time. A fight that you've been looking forward to, and it is none other than the flyweight champion returns in Pantoja. Remember, they both fought at International Fight Week. Pantoja won. Van had the absolute classic with Royval. Where he stepped up on short notice. It's now Pantoja is the pretty, decent favorite here at minus 238. And Joshua Van, you know, at 15-2, this is, you know, one of the longest layoffs for Joshua Van in a while. We're so used to seeing this kid fight every 2 to 3 months, but here he is. Had to, you know, wait his time because of the title shot. I wanted to post. I couldn't even remember who Pantoja beat. It's Kai France, of course. He had subbed. Every time Pantoja just looks better and better every time out. His last 2 fights have been finishes. You know, against Kai Asakura and Kai France. And now he's taking on, you know, Joshua Van has at 24 years old, has a chance to become the, you know, one of the second youngest champions of the world in the UFC. Again, his last fight was that classic against Brandon Royval. This is a first five rounder though for the young Joshua Van.
It is.
10 years difference here. I take that back. 11 years. Pantoja 35 and Joshua Van, the young age of 24 years old.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. Like every time Pantoja gets in the cage, he looks even better. You know, Steve Ursig made him seem like semi-human when they fought. He had kind of some success, I think, mainly because he was really just living the opportunity, not fighting with too much fear. The Kai France
I think
fight,
Van can do the little bit of that on Saturday. Van has nothing to lose, right?
It's momentum-wise, it will definitely help him. But I'm just so grateful that we finally have a legitimate number 1 contender for Pantoja to fight. Because I think a lot of you know, why people don't acknowledge him and stuff, they just, you know, see the matchups, they see the way he's winning. And I just don't understand how people can't be impressed with him at this point. Like the reckless pace that he fights at is insane. Always, you know, moving forward. You know, he wants to get the takedown. Always throwing kind of new ways in there. Like in the Kai France fight, he had him down and he had him on the ground and he was throwing like knees to Kai's body to, you know, not even do damage to Kai really, but more to get Kai not to like it and give him his back, and just slick ways of still figuring out to do stuff. And it's just a treat every single time. And lo and behold, like then comes Joshua fucking Van, which has fought 4 times this year. And if you don't like Joshua Van, you need to take a look in the mirror and figure out what is wrong with you. Like what's there not to like about this kid? He's active. He has a very fighter-friendly style. He always steps up, and you know, his boxing is, I think it's really some of the best in the UFC. I don't think it's hyperbolic to say that I think he has the best boxing in the flyweight division.
Yeah.
And you know, when that fight happened with Royval, I remember watching it and seeing it all come to fruition and realizing that this was Joshua Van's moment. He was going to win this fight on short notice, get his chance to call for the title. And I was still kind of like in awe and could not believe it the Monday after when I saw Van ranked 1. But you know who was not in awe and shocked by it? Was Joshua Van. Like in no scenario does he not know that he belongs here.
Yeah.
You know, and their styles together of them just both moving forward Like, someone's going to have to give an inch. And we've seen Van get taken down mercifully at times, and he's able to get right back up. I'm not really necessarily worried so much about Van getting taken down. I'm more worried about if Pantoja is able to get his back, what that looks like. Like, that is probably my biggest concern. But at the same time, when you look at, like, when Urseg was having success in that fight, it's because he was capitalizing on Pantoja blitzing with the takedowns, and Urseg was lighting him up with some elbows. We have seen those same elbows in Josh Van's repertoire. So, like, to me, like you said, the odds were kind of wide. I think Van barely being a 2-1 favorite kind of shows the respect that he's deserved. Like, any other opponent, Pantoja would probably be like minus 350 to 400 or something.
I don't know if he would, not if he's facing Royval or even Moreno, I don't think.
You don't?
No. I think it's probably about close to the same.
No. Respectfully, I disagree.
Hey, that's fine.
Just because, and I don't know if it's because, like, we've already seen those fights, so it's why it's so easy for me to kind of dismiss that the odds would be a little wider. But you know, at the same time, it would, like, what was he? What were the odds in those fights? Was it like this?
Let me look. When did he fight? So when he fought, I forget, he just fought Royval in December 23, and let me Google it here. And then he fought. You remember he beat Moreno in July that same year. The guy's been champion for 2+ years here, man. That's wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's why he is, you know, and like, how rare is it also to have two of the top 3 pound for pound fighters fighting back to back? Like, you know, you're getting the best versus best here. Like, relish in this treat, because we don't know how much more of this we're going to be getting in the future. And didn't mean to bury the lead there, but yeah, Ilya is my number 4 in pound for pound. Cry with the wall. Like, I'm the one who put him up there in the first place, so don't even want to hear it. But I'm getting thrown off here. Back to the fight. I think Joshua Van has everything he needs to actually be able to get this done. And I'm not just saying that because I'm fanboying for him, because I'm like a big fan of his. Because, like, what do you tell me all the time, Bakins? You say that I'm Pantoja's, you know, he's my favorite fighter. And that is the one time where I will not claim slander. Like, when you try to, like, troll and make the joke about that with Kaio, which we know is just a blasphemous statement.
So really,
I would actually allow that here. Like, he is definitely one of my favorites.
So when going back to it, when they fought back in 2023, the UFC 296, the odds were almost the same. Pantoja was minus 225. Royval was about plus 170, 180 to 187 in some sports books.
Damn. So yeah, if anything, they're giving him a little bit less success. Maybe that is just the odds makers in Vegas still not being fully sold on Pantoja, which I just do not. I mean, you said it. He's been champion for 2 years.
Yeah, and he's been. I mean, he at least fights twice a year for the most part. He usually fights in July, and then he's kind of owning these December cards here.
Yeah, I mean, if they had more contenders for him, I assure you, he would probably be fighting 3 times a year. And he loves fighting in Vegas. It's almost like a second home to him with how many times he's been there. And it, I mean,
And when they fought back, when Moreno fought Pantoja, Moreno was the favorite back in July. This was obviously 2023, so Moreno was the current champ. He was minus 200, and Pantoja was plus 170.
So, yeah, I guess that was probably a pointless exercise for me to have you look up a previous line of a fighter that people had no idea was that good. So, yeah, that was a complete waste of time. Apologies for that. But
no, it's all good.
I will maintain, like, I feel Joshua Van just being a plus 195 is really giving him a lot of respect in this fight. And I know a lot of people think the second that Pantoja is able to take him down, he's just going to be able to kind of impose his will on a top position and then kind of find a submission. But I think at bare minimum, this is going to be Pantoja's toughest title defense currently. And
possibly, yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, right now, I think you would have to kind of give that to Urseg. I mean, I might be a little biased in saying that, but I never thought there would be a scenario where I would actually pick against Pantoja. I was always on record saying, until someone beats him, I'm just going to have to keep riding with him. And I think that is probably accurate. It probably has a very decent chance of coming to fruition. But
who are you picking here?
There's just something I can't shake with it. I think Joshua Van is going to shock the world on Saturday night and get a victory against one of the all-time greats in the flyweight division. And whether that happens or not, I am just going to enjoy that fight the second it starts. And I'll leave kind of my pick to the side and just enjoy the action. And yeah, it's I feel awful picking against Pantoja.
Your favorite fighter, Bobby. Your favorite fighter.
Indeed, but
it's no longer.
No, he still is. But Joshua Van, fearless.
I'm a little worried, and maybe he's playing coy, right? Van's like, I don't really have a game plan, so I was a little worried about. But obviously, you're not going to reveal your game plan either to Ariel Helwani in the interview.
I mean, thank you. Like, to play devil's advocate, if he had a game plan, would he be saying it to Ariel, who's just going to aggregate? Absolutely not.
Exactly. Agreed. I think he has to have some sort of game plan going into this fight against one of the best.
And maybe it's because I'm naive, but that gave me more confidence.
It gave me more confidence. It gave me a little less confidence, but I mean.
The reason it gave me more confidence is I think a lot of, like, the Kai fight especially, Kai looked that overwhelmed, I think, because he had a game plan. And it was not going right.
No.
So
I don't know if he had a game plan. Everybody, but again, Bobby, Mike Tyson once said everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So
I believe Eugene Berryman had a game plan, whether or not Kai listened to it. And it, like, Pantoja has such a rock solid chin too. Like, those elbows he ate from Urseg. So, I mean, getting him out of there almost just seems impossible. But I'd love to be proven wrong. I mean, I've already told you I didn't want to pick this fight, but
you're picking
I did it. I'll shut up and let you go.
All right. So, real quick, Pantoja hasn't lost a fight in 5 years. His last loss was July 18th in 2020 to Oscar Oskarov. After that, it's been beat Manel Cape, beat Brandon Royval the first time, beat Alex Perez, beat Brandon Moreno for the title, beat Brandon Royval, beat Steve Urseg, beat Kai Asakura, beat Kai Kara-France. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 9 in a row, I think. Joshua Van similar success here. Obviously, not many years, but because of the frequent, we talked about the frequent fighting. I mean, all this dude does is fight. This is his fourth fight this year. And he had in 24, he had 5 fights in 24. One of those was the loss to our guy, Charles Johnson. After that, he's rattled off 5 wins in a row, finds himself here in the title fight, being that active in less than a year. Last year, July 13th, 2024 is when he lost to Charles. The man has won 5 since then, and we just got over the calendar, over the full 365 days since his last loss. With that being said, man, I'm like you. Until you beat him, until I see he can be beat. He looks better and better every time in there. And he give me, and still UFC flyweight champion of the world, Alexandra Pantoja.
Can't be mad at it. I fully understand.
I think it's going to be an incredible fight. I really do. We go to the main event. For the 4th time this year, setting if he wins, it'd be a UFC record. Merab Dvalishvili taking on Peter Yan. For the 2nd time, this is Merab's 4th title defense this year. To me, if he wins this fight, hands down, I don't care about Islam and what he did. You win 4 fucking title fights in 1 year. You're a fighter of the year. I don't care what you want to say. The man, if he wins this fight, will have beaten Umar. Was it O'Malley? Did he fight O'Malley again? Right? This year? Was that this year already?
Yeah.
O'Malley,
Umar, O'Malley,
Sandhagen, and now Peter Yan. We're talking 4 of the best fighters in the world.
What happens if Joshua Van knocks out Pantoja?
What's that got to do with Merab and Yan? Are you saying that
fighter of the year? I mean,
no.
I'll bring that back later because I'm going to go way off track. Go.
Yeah. Hey, talk to me if that happens. Then we're you know what I mean? Talk to me if that happens.
The activity is unmatched. It
is. But those aren't the guys that outside of, my only argument would be if Van does not, even if he wins and if he knocks out Pantoja, my only argument would be that those 4 guys that Merab beat are top of the class in title fights. Van's top 2 doesn't compare to the 4 of Merab.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely no pushback with it. I just, the thing I found so intriguing about it is everyone was always so, I don't care what Islam's done aspect, when I ain't even thinking about Islam. I'm thinking of, and like the placement of it is like so much more incredible because of that. Like, yes, Merab should absolutely be the shoe-in, but we're talking about 2 fighter of the year candidates fighting back to back. It's just well done matchmaking, UFC.
Yeah, we'll see what happens again. But let's talk about Merab versus Peter Yan. They fought a couple years ago. It was one-sided, 5-round fight on a fight night in the Apex, I remember. And it was just takedown after takedown after takedown. Merab's just, the machine style. And the cardio, Yan had no answer. Allegedly, he is saying he was hurt in that fight. Went into that fight hurt, and here he is, kind of built himself back up and put himself back in the title picture, for one last crack here, it seems.
Yeah. I mean, I know I told you after the Jan Goliath injury, I would take fighters saying they were injured going into fights a little bit more seriously. But I'm sorry, like Merab's probably been injured in every one of these 3 title defenses that he's done this year.
Well, yeah, especially the Umar fight, right? Didn't he have like staph in his leg and had like a hole in his leg and shit? He had to like lie to medicals and all types of crazy ass shit.
Yeah, right, I mean, right? that might be a shoo-in for fighter of the year right there. I think that might actually be the best argument is he lied about. Yeah, that's and I mean, you talk about Pantoja getting better every time he steps in the cage. That's exactly what I'm seeing from Merab Dvalishvili. Ooh, wow, I almost did that.
Yeah, way better than me.
But it's, you know, it's not that I'm like giving Yan no shot in this. I do think he absolutely should have been next, especially for the time frame that Merab wanted to fight on. He's definitely kind of done enough to, like Yan did all the work he needed to do to get a rematch that was so one-way traffic, you know? And I guess it's just kind of wild just how well Merab did, because Yan can wrestle. It's, you know, Merab just being able to spam the takedowns and stuff is just always kind of been his way to weaponize his cardio. He's been looking for finishes a little bit more, that being Merab. You know, the Sandhagen fight was interesting. Like, we all, I think, were kind of unanimously in agreement that Sandhagen won the first round and then gave up the next 4 to Merab, maybe even some 10-8s in there.
Yeah, I think that was like a 10-8.
Like, to play devil's advocate, I think Jan's best. Every time we've seen Merab like slow down or get hurt, seems to always be when he's taking like body shots and stuff, especially with how much he, you know, kind of spams the takedown and stuff. So that would probably, you know, be his best bet to try to inflict some damage early. But I almost think it's like unrealistic to apply that in trying to like weaponize the pace or something on Merab. To me, the biggest gray area in this, which is something, because it's Merab, I'm quite clearly overlooking, but it's the activity. I mean, this is literally going to be his 4th cut this year.
Yeah.
How is that all going to weigh into this? And if it was any other fighter, I think that would probably be my deciding factor in being, I don't know, you might be biting off a little bit more than you can chew with this type of activity. But his nickname just says it all. The guy's a machine.
Yeah.
I expect him to, you know, we saw Yan got his clean jacket today, so we know he's not on steroids. So I just, in this one, I think the odds are justified.
Huge odds. That's 485. That's wild.
It's it's wild, but at the same time, I can kind of see how they got there.
Yeah.
I think the odds makers are kind of giving Merab the respect that Vegas seems a little reluctant to still give to Pantoja there. And but, you know, I could totally understand someone wanted to take a flyer on plus 370. That's a big, juicy number. But where I'm at is I could see Yan winning some rounds here, but I just really don't see how he wins the actual fight. So I'm going to have to go instill on this one pretty convincingly.
Yeah, I don't really know if I see a path to victory for Peter Yan. I mean, this is like, I just don't know. Like, I just don't see it. Like, there's just no, but it's, to me, it's O'Malley, Merab 2, or just where you don't really see the path to victory. Much like I didn't see the path to victory. I don't know if Peter will get finished like Sugar did, but I just feel like it, in Merab or Peter Jan's got great defense takedown, but we've seen it. I mean, we've seen, whether he's hurt, we don't really know. We got to take his word for it, like he said. But this is just different. What Merab is doing, I don't know if there's a bantamweight on the planet that can beat him in that cardio. You really almost have to just like hope you catch him and knock him out. And there's not very many guys, especially at this smaller weight classes, that have that kind of power. I'm with you. I just don't. I think Yan, and we know Yan takes my thing about Yan2 is we know usually he takes a while to get going, but you can't give rounds away to Merab either. You know what I mean? Like, you can't give rounds 1 and 2 away to him, because he's not gonna tire. Like, he just doesn't get tired. He's got like 20. It feels like he's got, they always talk about Colby Covington having fucking 2 long, like an extra lung or some shit. Well, Merab's got 5 extra fucking lungs or some shit, because the man, 2 hearts and 5 extra lungs, because the dude just doesn't get tired. And like you said, like, had it been anybody else, we would be worried about the activity, right? We saw it kind of catch up with Alex Pereira last year. Eventually it caught up to him. All the fights, and then he loses to Ankalaev, right? Like, I just don't know if that happens with Merab. Like, I don't know if it happens. So I think it's – go ahead.
Yan, I mean, you kind of said all day. I think Yan's best path to victory is obviously trying to end it early in the first 2. If we see the 3rd round, I really don't think there's a shot in hell.
Yeah. Give me in still UFC bantamweight champion of the world, the Machine, baby. Yeah. Bobby, there's a lot more to get into, but like I said, after this, we have next week's card, and then we'll have 6 weeks of absolutely fucking nothing whatever news we've missed tonight to cover, 323. I'm sure we will back up and talk about God knows what the 6 weeks, up to the, from this card to the next one, to the, this next year into next year. So can't wait for it.
There'll be plenty of nonsense and fuckery for us to talk about. I'm just going to put that out.
Amen to that. You got any last and final words, Bobby?
Nah, my only final words is I'm glad we got this one in the books. Now I can just focus on enjoying the co-main event. I mean, this is the people's main event in my mind. So enjoy it, everyone.
Yeah. So long, folks. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Be a friend, tell a friend, like, subscribe, share. We'll be back 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern next Wednesday night as well. Also, so long to the ESPN era on pay-per-view. Last, pay-per-view we'll have for a long time, at least 7 years that we know of. So, thanks to you too, William. Appreciate it. Thanks. And we'll see you next week. And, a bit ado to the pay-per-view on ESPN. So have a great weekend, folks. Enjoy the fights. For my guy, Bobby Blunt, I'm Bodkins. See you next week.
Appreciate you coming through, William.
Thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, let's talk sport, friends. Thanks for watching.